and how in tough times, when things got ugly, they never. And I figured, this is kind of cool, right? Because I was thinking, it's not like I can click my heels 3 times and say, you know, there's no place like home, there's no place like home, and take me back. It's not one of those things. So I got used to the idea. I became the vice president of SHPE. I thought we were doing wonderful things at the time. This was, well, a long time ago. I'll leave it at that. I'll say that I did use OS2. I didn't have a chance to tap to the DOS and OS2. So after doing that, I thought, well, this was an anomaly, right? Purdue just has a good group of Latinos, and it was good, but that's going to be over soon. So I decided to get a job in the consulting world, and I moved to California, thinking, let me get myself away from the cold, snowstorm, more snow. So my first client was in Denver, Colorado, in the worst winter storm in years, which was not right. But the same thing happened again. I met a group of Latino, a community, people that were just willing to welcome you into the game, into the club. So I made it a point over the years to just understand, what is it about the Latino community? What is it about us that we like to welcome people around? With big hearts, you know, what value system, the belief system that we have, what is it, right? Because I don't know if you noticed today when you walked in, I did, the vibe, the energy, the positive attitude about people. Nobody's shy. I'm looking at Sulma over here. Nobody's shy about saying hi, how are you, what's your name, and I love that, and I encourage you to continue to do so. If you haven't met somebody in this room today, you're wasting your time. Okay? So make sure that you take the time, go say hi. Nobody's going to turn you down, nobody's going to reject you. Don't be one of those that walks around in a social event just close to the curtain, you know, hiding, hoping nobody says hi to you ever. Take the opposite approach. Just go say, hey, what's going on? I am not afraid to tell somebody, I forgot your name. I've met you before, I have no idea what your name was. So you should be the same way. Are you with me so far?
Yeah.
Right. So a couple of things. For the last 15 years, I've been working in the financial services industry. Everything from credit cards, debit cards, and all that stuff. And I figured there's got to be a way to correlate this with my passion for the Latino community. And one thing that I started thinking about is, if you thought about the Latino community as a financial stock, I bet you that financial analysts would be saying buy, buy, buy. Who doesn't believe that? I strongly believe that the analysts would be saying buy. It's the time. It's our time. For many, many reasons. Number one, the growing trend that we have. We grow at a very fast pace. I'm going to wait for the actual statistic, right? But apparently, for every one of us that dies, 8 are born. So we get a football team, a soccer team, and a basketball team all in one. So that's how fast we grow. Right now, 1 in every 4 children in kindergarten are Hispanics. And you put on top of that we grow at an exponential rate of 8-to-1 ratio. Number 1, we got to buy some TVs. Number 2, right, we got to take that to our advantage. What does that mean? That doesn't mean, well, it means one thing that is in everybody's mind already. But secondly, it means that in the year 2023, year 2030, year 2040, we're going to be the majority, not the minority. And that's something to keep in mind. Okay? 3, the uniqueness that we bring to the game, the diversity, communication styles, the way we talk to people. I mean, Spanish is no longer a foreign language. It's the second language here. Can everybody agree on that?
Yes.
So I would say try surviving in New York, California, Texas, or Florida without knowing at least a word in Spanish. I'm sure you have friends that have needed that skill set at some point in their lives. Just to say, ¿Dónde está el baño? At least. I've seen something that I thought I would never see, which is in the movies, you always see somebody saying, or a Latino saying, No English, no English. Well, I've had the opportunity to see an American say, no Espanol, no Espanol. Looks to me like, yeah, that's right. How does it feel? A couple of things are changing the way that I see it in terms of the landscape, right? We no longer have to adjust to everybody else. That's the way I see it. Every once in a while, and I would say more often than not, others have to adjust to the way we are. I think that's great. I was told a long time ago that I couldn't create a connection with a client because I talk with my hands. And that actually was provided as feedback in one of my performance reviews. As a bad thing. You talk with your hands. You're too excited. You have too much energy. Well, how am I offending somebody because of that? Well, the client is uncomfortable. How does that work? So how do I make that person comfortable? You just do. Well, it so happens that one time I had the opportunity to talk to the client, and that person told me, I don't like your voice. Well, why is that? He's like, he doesn't have passion for it like you do. So I was receiving feedback that I should have never taken because I stopped talking with my hands and I stopped having the passion, which Maria was talking about earlier. And it's the complete opposite. You should have that energy. You should have that passion. You should move forward with what you feel. Be authentic. Be who you are. And I think the Latinos have what I call number 5 is the Latino-ness. Something that is inexplainable. Well, Latinos have it. Am I wrong? You get an applause if you think that's right. We're shaping the world. We're restructuring America. We have influences in music, politics, sports, right? Music, videos, entertainment. Who doesn't know who Shakira is? That's right. But you know who we see in Jandelis. So those are some of the things that we should keep in mind. I think, alluding to something that Maria said earlier, do a search in Google about Latino contributions or important Latinos or our influence in the marketplace. You have thousands and thousands of pages. You can't read them all. And that's what we like to do. That's what we like to do. Give back to the community. Now, I don't want to bore you to death. That's a big picture. I realized that was there. Sorry. I don't want to bore you to death with statistics, but I do want to put a couple of them on the table just to get your minds thinking about it. Right? Number 1, which are some of them are challenging. Less than 2% of the board seats in the Fortune 500 companies are occupied by Hispanics. Less than 2%. Don't like that. Don't like that. Please help me bring that up. Less than 20% of the Fortune 1000 companies have a Latino director in their ranks. Less than 20%. Now that's not the bad part. The bad part is that number has been the same for the last 9 years. So what is it? We're not pushing hard enough. We obviously have the numbers. Statistically speaking, like I said before, we're 15% of the population. 20% of the teen population is Hispanic, which means, like I said earlier, in 2023, watch out. Watch out, because we're coming in. And strong. In terms of purchasing power, I care to argue that we have a $1.25 trillion business case. That's with a T. That's the Hispanic community purchasing power. So you don't think people are going to pay attention to us? Like I said before, 8-to-1 ratio, that means that any company that sells any type of products for babies or household maintenance, better watch out. What do we want driving that train? We want a Hispanic driving that train. Why? Because Hispanics understand the Hispanic culture.
Are you late?